Good morning, everyone. My name is Noel Pfeffer, and I'm joined here by Rashonda Alexander, our Director of Compliance. We're here today to provide an overview of CDA's 2023 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report. This is our annual report that we provide to HUD, sharing the outputs of the activities that we've funded over the course of 2023. It's due every year, 90 days after the conclusion of the calendar year. And we're excited to share how these funds have been deployed and the impact that they've had across the city. So first of all, I'll say a word about CDA and our mission, and then I'll toss it to Rashonda Alexander to go over our consolidated performance and evaluation report. So CDA is a city department that serves as a clearinghouse for federal funds for the city of St. Louis, with a particular focus on HUD funds, which we're talking about today. We're charged by Mayor Jones and the Board of Aldermen with deploying federal funds to drive economic justice and fund a wide range of community development activities, including the construction of affordable housing, the provision of public services such as youth services, senior services, and a lot more, which you'll hear about today. And we support efforts to combat blight and activate and remediate vacant land and lots. And throughout this all, we are committed to citizen participation and to an ongoing dialogue with the public and the community about our work. And that's why we're also going to be launching in just a few days, next week on April 3rd, our consolidated planning process. So today you'll be hearing about the work that we did over the course of 2023, but we also want to encourage you to engage with our planning process as we work to identify our priorities for the period between 2025 and 2029. So with that, I'll toss it over to Rashonda Alexander on our team to go over our agenda for the day and carry us through this slideshow.
Good morning. All right, so just to go over our agenda really quickly for our 2023 Consolidated Annual Performance Report, which we affectionately call the CAPER. Our purpose is what we're going to start with, which is what Noel kind of touched on, that this is how we communicate to the citizens of St. Louis what we are doing and have done for the previous year. We're going to talk about the entitlement programs, the process overview, CDBG, Home, ESG, and HOPWA are those entitlement programs that we will be speaking about. And then we will have a time for public comment where we will come well, we'll stay on screen, but we'll actually invite you for any of your comments that you may have to share with us about this CAPER. Next slide. So CDBG and Home are two of our entitlement programs, and our eligible uses. CDBG just, if you're novice, stands for Community Development Block Grant. And these funds are used for activities that fulfill at least one national objective. So national objectives are, you have to benefit someone that's low to moderately income. You need to eliminate slum and blight, or there's urgent need. So those make up the three national objectives from the federal government for CDBG. Home funds are used to provide housing for the LMI population. And then we have ESG, which really stands for Emergency Solutions Grant, and HOPWA, which is housing opportunities for people with HIV and AIDS. So these two entitlement programs provide ESG in particular, homeless people with basic shelter and essential supportive services, whereas HOPWA provides housing needs for those people living with HIV and AIDS. There's a process that we have to do to be federally compliant. In 2020, we adopted a consolidated plan that was submitted to HUD November 15th of 2019. So we're still operating in that consolidated plan. The public hearing that we had for this year we're presenting on in 2023 was July of 2022. So the process for CDBG annually starts with CDA around the month of July. So look for this July for it to be the same thing for this year's action plan. The RFP for last year was July of 2022, where we issued the RFP, and then the responses were due by August 26th. So that's what those dates mean. After that process, we have to appropriate the funds. So the mayor actually signed the board bill of all of our proposed funding allocations, which we'll talk about later in this slide, by ordinance 71576. And this is the governing document that says, when we have the authority to use the funds as we propose, and it holds us accountable. And this is what we're showing with you today, how we were held accountable and what we did for year 2023. We submitted that action plan to HUD on November 14th of 2022 and entered into a grant agreement the following year of 2023. We did a whole bunch of stuff last year, and today we're telling you about it. And by the 30th of this month, we have to officially submit it to HUD. This is the CAPER, which is our Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report. In that board bill that we talked about, the ordinance 71576, we provide estimated totals for all of these entitlement programs. So our estimated for CDBG was $18,283,812. And then you'll see the rest of the totals here for CV, home, ESG, and HOPWA. Those are estimates. Our actual dollars for CDBG that we received were $18,296,578. For CDBG-CV, which is coronavirus based due to the pandemic, it's $13,231,362. And home, $3,244,042 and on. Our expenditures are listed next to it, but I would like to highlight that to date, and for CDBG in particular, our expenditures are $14,062,197. And yeah, so we're still on track to continue to spend that down. This is a table of our racial populations for CDBG. You will find here that over 78% of our population serve the Black and African American community, 18% for our white population, and multiracial 4%, with our other categories under 1%. We awarded in various areas of entitlement, from public services to low mod homeowner assistance, home repair, housing production, interim assistance, economic development, rehabilitation administration, and total planning and administration. So in HUD world, they give you service categories. So these are service categories that we were spending the particular money in. And we're going to dive into a little bit more what that looks like. So under public services, there is youth services, senior services, and food access. You'll notice some of these names on the screen, like Herbert Hoover Boys and Girls Club, or Big Brothers and Big Sisters, SLACO, Mission St. Louis. They all provide youth services, and in particular, over 1,320 low to moderately income youth were serviced because of these funds, from summer school or case management or after-school programs. With senior services, Newstead Neighborhood Association, Northside Senior Services, City Seniors, and SLAY, they supported over 1,336 seniors exactly, providing them meals, transit, recreation, and other services. And with food access, Carondelet Community Betterment Foundation and City Seniors and our other partners like Guardian Angel Settlement provided food pantry services to 1,564 LMI City residents. With workforce development, our partners, Employment Connection, St. Patrick's Center, Mission St. Louis, the Urban League. They provided 743 city residents, including 141 successful job placements with homeless services. Covenant House, Hope House, Doorways provided permanent supportive housing to 365 residents, of which 99 of those were homeless youth. So we thank you all for all of the amazing work that you're doing to help deploy these funds and for the citizens. And this particular one about neighborhood beautification to make our city better. Operation Brightside, SLACO, and NNA conducted 225 cleanup and beautification events, 1,475 graffiti removals, and 77 community gardens and orchids were serviced. In other areas of public services, we have childcare, reentry, and landlord training provided by Tower Grove CDC, our Criminal Justice Ministry, and Guardian Angel Settlement Association. Housing. So housing is huge for HUD because that's what it stands for, Housing and Urban Development. And here at City, we have really taken a very active approach in deploying home repair like we've never done before. And we want to congratulate our home repair team led by Bill Rattay for now providing 1,395 major home repairs. That includes roof replacement, collapsed floor laterals, water lines, and upgrades for HVAC and electrical panels. That helped 332 LMI homeowners. In partnership with Harambe, Mission St. Louis, and Habitat for Humanity, we provided 216 minor home repairs, and our building division provided lead remediation services for 80 units. And this is eliminating a huge backlog, so kudos. Housing production, we have 88 affordable units completed for sale homes, and this is big news. CDA currently has over $47 million in CDBG home and ARPA funds combined, with including 101 for sale homes and 1,378 rental homes. These projects represent over 450 million in total development in the city of St. Louis. And we have a more detailed chart on the next slide. Before we move forward, though, I want to make sure we talk about home ownership assistance and how our partnership with Housing Partnership provided down payment assistance for 14 LMI residents. So drilling down into housing a little bit more, let's see. We have over a combined 87,136,698 deployed funds working through CDA, with SLDC, and with our Affordable Housing Commission. CDA in particular, we have 295 units complete since 2022, 240 are under construction, 1,239 are in pre-development. We're just moving, and it's good. So continue to be excited about all the changes happening in the city, even when you don't see it. Just know that it's happening, and it just takes a little more time for some things. In the economic development, I feel like a news lady. LRA has the property and vacancy program has secured 653 properties, provided tree trimming for 334 trees, and removed trash and debris for 73 properties, demolishing 58 unsafe properties, and lot maintenance for 17,201 properties, which is, that's a lot, considering we have over 22,000 vacant lots in the city. So LRA is doing great work to help with that. SLGC and is under our neighborhood commercial district and facade program, completed 5 improvements and assisted 27 businesses. And our micro lending partner, Justine Peterson, distributed 80 microloans to help small businesses grow. Our Emergency Solutions Services Grant is another entitlement program led by our partner Amy Bickford. And for year 2023, they received $1,579,000, well, and $441 in CDBG funds, and ESG funds, excuse me, serving 1,764 households. Shelters included Gateway 180, Peter and Paul, Our Lady Doorways, and this is all for our homeless management within the city of St. Louis. Rapid rehousing, including Doorways, St. Patrick's Center, and Urban League, our prevention services for 2023, and our street outreach for 2023. All are listed here. Street outreach, we had over 158 people that were serviced and provided housing, 7 of them being children. The same with rapid rehousing. 43 are children and 129 total. In general, we have serviced 2,806 people with homelessness prevention, and this is the demographic breakdown. A vast majority of our homeless in the city of St. Louis are over the age of 25, but it's a stark number that 657 of them are under the 18 years of age. This is the gender breakdown. And just in the years to come, look for more prevention, outreach, rapid rehousing, emergency shelter, and more data collection, affordable housing to help combat homelessness in the city of St. Louis, and deploy more funds specifically to help this vulnerable population find housing that is stable and be able to experience a quality of life that's vastly improved. For our people, housing opportunities for persons with AIDS is HOPWA. And the goal of HOPWA is to assist low-income people with HIV and AIDS with housing services and supportive services. Many of them have illnesses and sometimes substance abuse problems that stem from their diagnosis. And they take HIV medications on a regular basis. So for HOPWA and their monitoring staff, they conduct visits and access training and provide technical assistance to their partners like Doorways who are doing this work to help this population. Deploying over $2,839,546, they did the following activities for tenant-based rental assistance, family-based housing, facilities-based housing, short-term rental, case management, information services with partners, Doorways, Peter and Paul. Has anybody seen the new Doorways campus? If you haven't, it's beautiful. It's led by Opal. Opal Jones, and she is a wonderful person doing great work for Doorways. So thank you to Doorways and Peter and Paul for your work that you are doing with HOPWA, and Sylvia Jacksonville for leading up this initiative with the city. Our 1-year goal was 755 assisted persons for HOPWA. It was actually exceeded by 180 or so, and 932 actual people serviced. So that concludes the Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report public hearing. It's time for your public comments. Are there any comments? And if so, feel free to do so now. Oh, I would like to note that we're also going to have the same hearing tomorrow, as we published in the St. Louis American, giving public notice on March 13th of this year. We have a date discrepancy that we will try to fix by having 2 public hearings today at 11 and tomorrow the same time. March 29th at 11. Right. Anything else for the good of the group?
Not for me. Thank you, Rashonda, for giving such a comprehensive overview of our work in 2023. As Rashonda mentioned, the notice for this hearing inaccurately stated that it would be held at 11 a.m. on Thursday, the 29th. Unfortunately, Thursday is the 28th and Friday is the 29th. And so we are seeking to remedy any confusion by holding it at both potential times. We'll hold another 30 seconds or so if anyone watching has any questions. But if seeing none, we'll bring this to a close in a moment. Tommy, can you see if we're missing any? Okay.
Good. Anything in the chat?
No?
Well, all good.
All righty then. Thank you all for joining, and we'll see you again at this time, 11 a.m. tomorrow. Have a good one.